Okay, should we say something first? Like this is part 2?
Part 2 interview with
I know
Dawn Wells, and once
people
again,
don't like when we call it an interview. So how about just part 2 of chit-chatting with Dawn Wells?
there you go. And
So,
once again, thanks, Dawn, for giving us your time.
yes, thank you,
Thank
Dawn.
you.
We really appreciate it. Okay.
All right.
As I'm sure you have seen, your sister-in-law, Rose, went missing about 11 years ago. Of course, I'm sure you've seen it. Some people are trying to tie you or your wife or both of you and somehow think that maybe both of you are responsible for that as well. I wanted to ask you, where were you and your wife around that time? Were you guys questioned in that at all? Or how did that kind of go?
We were questioned. We was in Arkansas, and we just had, was just born. And so we was in Arkansas. I was working in Missouri at times, and Fayetteville, Arkansas, Bentonville, Arkansas, pretty much all over doing the same thing I do now, just doing construction. But yeah, she just disappeared. They found her car parked somewhere. She was supposed to go to a bar, and they found her car parked at a gas station, and that's the last time anybody ever seen her.
Okay. And so you were in a complete different state than Rose at the time.
Yeah.
And your wife as well.
Yeah. Yeah, we was busy. Was a newborn at that time. So yeah, we was pretty busy with that.
Okay, and you both were questioning it, but obviously, if you're both in different states, clearly you weren't.
Right.
So
right,
okay.
Absolutely.
Well, I will leave that at that. I think that's.
I just want to ask, what was the three of yours relationship like? Like, did you know her? Because it was Candace's sister, right?
Yes, Candace's half sister.
Like, were you guys close at all? Was Candace close with her? Do you know?
I know that her and Candace was close. It was her favorite, sister and everything. But I never met her before. Never met her or anything. So I wouldn't know. But I know she was really nice. But I've never talked to her or anything.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people think that Candace hated her sister, Rose. But then when that Chris went through your house, we had all noticed, everyone watching, seeing right away in the kitchen, there was a picture of Rose. There is a picture of Rose hanging up there. And so, you don't do that if you are like you hate someone, like people are trying to make it sound like. So
no, that really tore my wife up bad. And then, she's been dealing with that for years. It's been hurting her. Now Summer's been abducted, and so it's been horrible for her. She's really dealing with a lot. I mean, we both are, but it's taken a toll. I can tell and then with what Chris and others have done, she don't trust nobody no more. I tried to get her to come with me, and she's like, she just don't want to trust anybody anymore. And I apologize.
No, don't apologize. We understand. It's totally okay. We get it.
Yeah, she's afraid of everybody now. She's all messed up inside, and
She has every right to be. That is okay.
Yeah.
The other thing they're saying, Don, is that when there was EquuSearch and the private search parties that were coming in, there's rumors going around that you only allowed searches around certain areas, but that you didn't allow your whole property to be searched.
Yeah, actually, I never got to meet Dave. I called him yesterday. I talked to him and tried to get him, TBI and their information, get them their phone numbers. So we're trying to get him back. I said some things about David Rader, and I was wrong. It was somebody else that was doing an interview with him, and I didn't know who Dave Rader was at the time. but it was that other guy, and I don't know his name, that was saying that when he seen my video, his hair just stood up on the back of his arm, on his neck or whatever, and he just knew I was guilty. And I thought it was Dave Rader, and so I had to apologize to Dave Rader for that, because I didn't know which one was which at that time. But yeah, I've been in contact with Dave Rader. We're trying to get him back now, see if they can help us search, around our hills and everything with the new evidence that we've got and stuff that I think that you've got now.
Yep.
So we're trying to get him back. I'm sending him all that information and everything, and got him in touch with TBI in Hawkins County. So we're hoping. I don't know if we should say anything about all that.
Not yet. We'll wait.
Yeah.
We'll wait on that. We'll do that a different day. Give TBI a little time to do their thing. Yeah.
So yeah, but you didn't restrict anyone, like you let them search wherever around your property?
Oh yeah, from day one, they've been more than welcome to search all our property. They've searched it, at least 6 times, and then they come back a few more times searched. And yeah, they're more than welcome to come back. There's no problem. Yeah, I don't know what else to say on that, but
Nope. That's
Yeah, we just want to clear that up, because some were saying that you were only allowing them to search certain areas on your property. So we found that really weird.
yeah, they didn't have to have any search warrants or anything like that. We haven't retained no lawyers in regards to Summer's disappearance or anything like that. We don't have anything to hide. They're welcome. Chris, on the other hand, is not welcome, because he turned it a nightmare, made us look bad in every way. But I'm not trying to attack him or anything, but I'm just trying to defend myself, the things he's trying to say.
Yeah, understandably.
Yeah. Okay. Now, some people are pointing out that they notice on June 15th that your daughter Summer has had candy, orange soda pop, a slushie at Sonic, but people are now, I'm sure you've read, trying to say, well, what kind of food did she eat? How come there was no real meals in there? Blah, blah, blah. Do you happen to know what she all ate maybe on June 15th? Did they go out to eat anywhere, have a big breakfast at home before they went somewhere, or how that went at all?
I really don't have any idea on that, but usually her biggest thing that she likes is French fries. She's always wanting to stop and get a French fry and a soda, and every day before I left for work, she says, "Dad, will you bring me candy?" Or she'd give me a list, and so every day when I come home, she'd come running down the hill at the truck and meet me and open my door and just say, "Daddy, did she bring me candy?" And I says, "Yeah, Summer, I did." But there's a couple times I'd forget, I'd be tired or whatever, and she'd say, "That's okay." Miss her so much.
I can't even imagine, man.
That just made me think of Whelan always asking me, "Did we get candy? Did you get my gum? Did you get my Tic Tacs?" I'm so
haven't had to buy candy at all since she's been gone. So I haven't had to buy any candy. Just every time I stop at the gas station, anything, I think about it. And when I pull in the driveway, the other day, Candace come pulling in the driveway, and I run out to the truck to get Summer, and I forgot for a minute that she wasn't with us any longer. So that was really depressing,
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Wow.
I wish for everything I got that she'd just magically just be home safe.
Mm-hmm.
And There is absolutely no clues. Nobody. We don't know the TBI. Nobody. We have nothing. No, don't know which way to go. It's definitely is going to take a miracle. There's no other way than a miracle from God. I mean, that I can see. There's no other way. So I pray constantly. Try to stay in Scripture, and commandments is a must. I've been trying to do that for quite a while. But I'm not perfect, of course, but I've seen my baby. If something has happened to her, I'll see her in the resurrection. Jesus pointed out, this life is nothing. This death is nothing. It's the second death that's the one we got to be leery of, is the second death, not this one. This life doesn't even matter. But yeah.
I hate to have to keep asking you these questions now. Summer, some people think because we didn't really hear her a lot, some people think she didn't really speak that much. Was Summer a big talker? Was she more quiet and reserved? Did she know how to swim also and love to swim? We saw a little bit, but people were wondering, does she know how to swim?
No, we never taught her how to swim yet. She does. I won't. My son, I taught him how to swim on his back, so he knows how to slow down and take it easy, swim on his back. And when we went out to Pineview Dam, he took off across the dam. I was scared to death. But my son Donnie went out and got him, but he scared the daylights out of me out there in that deep water, But he can swim on his back. We would never take our kids anywhere that's unsafe or deep water or anything like that. There's no way. But I even talked to Candace about that a lot. Made sure you can see in that videos of shallow water, everything. So, yeah.
Well, it does make a little bit more sense with, I don't know if it's true or not, but Hunter had said she had slipped and gone underwater. So it made a little bit more sense that she might panic a little bit if she couldn't actually swim and, tread water and bring herself back up. But yeah, okay.
Yeah, she's real leery anyway. She won't go. She it's just like around our house. The only time, the boys went down to the creek that time, and she would only go about halfway. She wouldn't even go all the way down there with them. And we taught them to go in pairs, at least in pairs, if not all together, not ever by themselves.
And that's normal. I've taught the kids the same thing in the woods there in Minnesota.
Yeah.
And that's normal. I think any country folk will understand that, Don.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
yeah, and every one of them's got a knife, just in case,
So Chris asked you to describe the scenario of your daughter Summer being abducted. He asked you to describe that, which they were analyzing yesterday. I was wondering if you could re-describe what you think in your mind happened to Summer, because you had said something, and they're picking it apart. I'm sure you watched it, so after you answer that, I'll kind of say some more.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. Yeah, because I know that Summer would never leave from around our house, but she has gone outside by herself a few times. And I'd say, boys, you can't leave her outside by yourself. But But we usually, we'd go outside and she'd be right there close by or whatever. So she would never go far away. And I knew that. We've been trying to teach her that you can't, wild animals, everything else. I've seen a bobcat before. I've seen some wild dogs in the area. I've seen them run off across the roads on my way to work with chickens and stuff, And so we tried to teach her the best we could. And so when on my way home, Candace couldn't find her, for 30 minutes after calling 911. It took me probably 30 minutes to get home. So I knew they were searching around the top of the house. So I drove immediately down to the bottom of the property, figuring they probably hadn't looked down there yet. That's the first place I went, down all the way down to the creek. And when I seen my boys down by the creek, all three of them together, and I seen my neighbor coming around the other side of our hill to my left, I knew at that point that Summer had been abducted, or Summer was not around, because she would never leave from around the house. So I turned the car around and drove. I don't know if I looked in the shed at that time or not, that little shed there at the bottom. I can't remember if I come back or not, but I drove up to the house, and I believe there might have been a cop car or two there. I think there was a couple there, if I'm not mistaken. I could be. But, that's when everything started. Time either started slowing down or speeding up or whatever. I don't know, but I just knew in my heart that she wasn't nowhere around. I knew somebody had grabbed her.
You said, I don't know. I think somebody grabbed her and probably threw her in her car. Now they're trying to say you let slip her so that the abductor is possibly a female, or possibly maybe your wife took her somewhere. Now I explain it away. You're always talking about Summer. That's a her. You have her on your brain. So you just said her. I don't know. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I don't, I really don't know. I haven't been able to think right since this stuff's happened.
Yeah.
I still ain't right at all. The only reason I go to work, because I've been doing it for so long. I can't even work. I've been to work the past 3 days and I haven't got one thing done.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm sorry. It keeps bothering you all day.
It's not you. It's everything else, everything. It's not just you. We want to try to find our daughter and share information with everybody that we trust anyway. And and then, Candace, she's pretty tore up. I've never seen her like this. So trying to help her all I can, but like I say, I can't think right. So I could have said anything. It's hard to say.
I didn't really think too much of it. They're just trying to milk the show, whatever.
Well, they're just looking at every little thing you say and overanalyzing it and looking for things that are suspicious. But I always say everything looks suspicious when looked at with suspicion. Mm-hmm. So it's you kind of can't win in that scenario.
That's the thing with the statement I made with Chris, is I was, being absolutely truthful, and they can't see the truth. They can't see that I'm just being the plain truth. I don't understand that. Way over analytical and everything. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The other thing too is they're tripping up on the dogs. You're saying you're at work. Candace was gone most of the morning and afternoon to the lake and hospital with grandma. They're wondering, how did you know that that most of the dogs weren't around all day then, if nobody was home?
Well, I don't know if they were there all day or not, because I wasn't there. That's impossible. But I just noticed that they weren't around at the time when I got there.
Yeah.
I think one or two filtered in, but for the most part they weren't there. And then the next day they were all there because when they brought the dogs in and everybody was taking pictures and everything, we had to take them all and put them in the back of our Suburban so the cadaver dog or whatever the bloodhound could do its work. So we had to catch them all, keep them locked up.
So I actually didn't even get to tell you this yet, but I had somebody email me this afternoon, and her best friend is a home health nurse for one of your neighbors. And she sent me an email and said, absolutely, your dogs are always found. In fact, her exact words were, they go to her house and they pee on her car, on the tires of her car all the time. And that, yeah, your dogs are known to be in packs running all down the road and at other people's houses, and they do wander off quite a bit. So,
yeah, and these are stray dogs. I mean, we don't claim them as our own because they're all our strays that we just take care of. So we're definitely not going to be claiming them and be liable for them, if you will, because they're just dogs that people drop off. I don't know. And I'm not going to shoot them. So.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good.
You want to say hi, Dave?
I just know you tried to call him, so I was just trying to connect with
Got it. Right.
We can
Thank you.
connect with later.
Okay. Thank you.
Is that okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you. That's my pastor, Dave. I'm sorry. Nick him up to say hi.
okay.
Oh, say hi for us.
Yep. Maybe he'll interview with us sometime, him and Robin.
Yeah. Well, him and some of our church members, Robin done an interview with Chris, I think, and now she won't want to do anything anymore either.
I've been talking. Yeah. People really jumped on the hate bandwagon with her, so she's been also worried about her family. So yeah, it's too bad people are doing that.
Yeah, they're just vultures. They gotta hate everything, and they're even coming after me now.
Yeah.
And I haven't said anything bad about anybody, but they're still coming at me too. It's just part of the game.
Yeah, I'm sorry. But yeah, she's the sweetest girl ever, and Summer loved her. And every time Summer would go up to her, she didn't just shoo her away. She'd pick her up every time and love on her every time. Never got tired of holding Summer, and I know she was tired. So,
What was Summer's favorite candy? You mentioned she always wanted candy. What would be the number one thing she'd want you to bring home?
It really didn't matter what kind or whatever, but I would always get her a big bag of candy, and I'd say, now you distribute it to your brothers, okay? And she said, okay, Dad. And so I'd just give her a bunch of stuff, and she'd eat a little bit, but she'd distribute it to her brothers, And
was she a fan of sour? Did she like sour candy?
I don't think so, but I really don't know. I didn't. I bought her Tic Tacs, just a bunch of different stuff. Can't remember what they're called, everything was called, but just all kind of stuff. I miss her so much. Oh my gosh.
I can't imagine.
Do you know the swimsuit from June 15th? Was she wearing a swimsuit? Where did she put her swimsuit on? At home with your wife? At Hunter's house? Do you know anything about that?
I think Candace would always bring an extra set of clothes. I think she would, if I remember right, because I didn't get to go a whole lot. I'm always at work, but every once in a while I'd meet them up there or whatever. But I believe she would have her swimsuit on, and then once she got out of the water, she would have a set of clothes so she could put dry clothes on her. And I believe that's how it worked, but I'm not exactly sure.
Do you know where the swimsuit is now? Is it still at home? You guys have it at home?
I have no idea, and I wouldn't doubt it if TBI has it, because they come in and the forensics, they took a lot of clothes. They took all kind of stuff out of there, or TVs, or we had a Canon camera that's gone, and we had a lot of pictures on that, and so we don't know if we're going to get any of that back. I'm thinking, somebody else took it, not the FBI, but somebody else, and I'm thinking we might not get that back. I don't know. I hope we get it back, but pretty.
They gave your cell phones back immediately, right?
Yes, yeah. They took them for about 30 minutes or whatever. They took them back and do whatever they do to them. I don't know what they do, but they brought them, right back and handed them to us.
The red truck. So on part 1, when we sat down with you, I don't know if maybe we got days mixed up, but you had on June 15th, the same day Summer went missing, the morning, like before you left for work, the police were there. Is this the same red truck? Is there 2 red trucks? Are we getting days mixed up? Can we go over the red truck? And one last time, I promise this is going to be the last time I ask. And how did that tip come to? Was it you that was the eyewitness? Did a neighbor say it? Or how did the red truck come into play? And when did you? Yeah.
The red truck that they're looking for is an eyewitness account of a truck that was parked at the bottom of our driveway the day Summer went missing, or right around that time Summer went missing. So we don't know who this eyewitness is or what. We don't even know if it's a Toyota Tacoma. We just know it's a red truck with a ladder rack. That's all we really know about it. The other red truck that I took pictures of that morning, I was about 8 days ago or so, 9 days ago, I was headed to work, and there was a guy right there at the bottom of our road, right there at the bottom of our driveway, that wanted me to start his 4-wheel drive, or his 4-wheeler. And so I said I would, and the police pulled up and was asking questions and asked if I could pull that 4-wheeler over to his truck, and he was high centered, that little truck that was high centered there. So the police started asking for paperwork and all kind of questions and stuff. They all know who I am now, so he wasn't asking me any questions, but I asked if I could take a couple pictures, and he said, "No problem, Mr. Wells." And I said, "Well, I'm heading to work." And he says, "No problem." So I guess he helped him get that truck off of there or whatever. I don't know. But
Okay, so this is days. This is different days then.
yeah, it was only about 9 days ago or so when this happened.
Okay.
About 3 in the morning.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, we got that mixed up then.
Yep. Oh, that's good. Okay. Now people have a picture floating around. There's a yellow Jeep or truck in your driveway. That's your coworker, and they're kind of getting timeline mixed up because they thought maybe you worked with the one guy 7 years ago. How come he was there the day before or whatever? Could we go over that again?
No problem. Okay, so Dudley, the guy that I rehired, worked for our company about 7 years ago. And he went through all of our crews, and everybody fired him, and he ended up, well, first let me back up. They put him with me first, and I worked with him for half a day, and I went home at 11 o'clock. I come back the next day, and by 11 o'clock, I'm like, there is no way, you're going to have to go. He started, I told him, you go work on that apartment over there, and I'll do this one over here. I don't know what was up with him, or maybe it was me. I don't know. But anyways, I just knew I couldn't work with him. But after that, he went through all the crews and everything, and they all let him go. They didn't. I mean, he ended up getting fired pretty much by every crew we have, and and that was 7 years ago. So here it is, in the present time, he gets a job again with one of our crews, and they're saying that, he's having problems, this and that. And I thought, well, I'll be the good guy and try to give him a chance and see what we can figure out and work out. And it didn't take long to figure out that I couldn't work with him. But I attribute it to him being on some kind of serious drug or something. I don't know, I don't have no proof or anything like that, but I mean, it was pretty bad and obvious that something was really wrong. And he was yelling at me one day. I've been with these guys for 13 years this time, and he was telling me where to go. So I went to lunch and come back, and I told him pretty much where to go. And so he was furious with me, very furious. And he called my bosses constantly and told them all kind of stuff to try to get me fired and everything else. And so that day I fired him. Well, the next day is when Summer come up missing. The very next day, he has an alibi for where he was, but through some of the police agencies and stuff, we found that he does have ties with Tony and some other of their friends and stuff. And then we find out, Tony lives, and that's the guy that tried to abduct the 12-year-old boy in Kingsport. And he had tried to abduct him 2 days after Summer disappeared. And Tony has been staying on property by our house 1.5 miles away from us. And we don't know this guy. We don't know anything about him. We just now found out he lives 1.5 miles away from us. And so we're trying to figure out what his mother's name is and trying to figure out where this property is. But I'm pretty sure TBI has probably already figured all this out, and they probably already searched that property. But we're just trying to make sure and do what we can, because this just makes sense. This guy, and plus he had a truck like similar. They're saying his niece got a hold of us and said that he had a truck similar to the one they're looking for, or exactly like it. But we don't know. We can't confirm all this. Right now, it's just all speculation or whatever, but for hearsay, however you want to say it. So we're trying to figure it all out and do what we can. And but it's interesting to know that he was just 1.5 miles from us all this time. And so if there's a connection there, and there's possibly a drug connection of some kind of drug, I don't know. I've never seen anything like this behavior. I've never seen anything like this before. And it's pretty scary because, I mean, he's been my number one suspect all along, for reasons of trying to get back at me or whatever. But the guy's in the clear as far as the police are concerned. He's got an alibi, but we also know he has ties with this Tony. I don't know. So we're just trying to figure all that out right now and do what we can and get David Rader to come back, hopefully, and police involved any way we can. I wish we could share more information, that we could just know, where they've been, what can we do, and stuff like that. It's like they don't want to share info, and I guess there's good reasons why, but we want to do everything we can for our daughter. But I guess this is where the public comes in. If she's not in this area, that means she's out there somewhere amongst the people. So we're just hoping and praying that people will help us.
Yeah, that's the hope, that maybe someone will hear about this, see a picture, and recognize her somewhere. I mean, that would be the best way that this could come to a conclusion. That's for sure.
Yeah, and if if these guys, the criminal element, they wouldn't want to leave no evidence for somebody. I mean, it scares me to think of that. But But anyways, we got to give it all to God anyway. I mean, I don't know. I'm having a hard time with it. I love my daughter. She was my whole world. She would only come to me for the first 18 months of her life. And Candace had, she had a hard time. It hurt Candace, but she had plenty of time to win her love. She got to go to all these places, and I'm glad she did. All the time I was at work, and Candace got to go and do a lot of fun stuff with her, and I'm so glad that she got to do that with her. Yeah.
Okay. On June 15th, everyone knows you called your wife. Could you kind of give us a little details about that? Do you kind of remember, was it morning, afternoon, later afternoon when you called her? Do you remember how that conversation went at all? Because Hunter's saying you called about, two people touching children or whatever. So could you kind of tell us if you remember what time the call was and how that conversation went?
Well, the only thing I know is, I call her from time to time just to see what she's doing. And she said that she's taking care of some prescriptions or whatever. It seemed to me that it was later than that, but because I made up my mind, well, they're busy doing this and whatever, I may as well just stay late at work. So I was working late, had to sit and talk with Jamie for a good long time. And then my boss come around making fun of me for using my car to put drywall tools in. And so he knows where I was at. But about 30 minutes, I'd say after my boss left, I got that call from Candace, and she's frantic and everything. I says, well, just in case, call 911. And so I finished packing my tools in the car, threw them in there actually as fast as I could, and got in the car and headed down the road, and I called 911 myself. And then once I got done with that, I talked to her on Messenger all the way home, and I was flying. I think I made it, like I say, I've said it before, but about 30 minutes. And that's when I drove straight to the bottom of the property because I knew they were searching all around by the house. And I hadn't heard, they found her or anything. So that's why I went straight to the bottom of the property to look around that area.
So you would guess maybe an hour and a half before Candace called you and said Summer was missing that you called her?
Okay, I'm not understanding what you're saying. Can you?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, just the time that you called her that day. About what time was that
Like
you
how
called
far
her?
in between calls between you and her having that call when she's picking up prescriptions to she's calling you saying Summer's missing? Do you know how long?
Yeah, I honestly can't say, but I remember. Only thing that I can remember, it was thinking, well, I might as well just work late because they're busy doing other things, and there's no point in me going home because I don't want to go home and sit there by myself. So I figured I'd just work late that day.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, yeah. Golly.
Yeah. Okay.
Snake just talk about snakes.
Oh.
Oh.
He just went under my feet.
Oh, gee.
It's just a gardener. It's just a gardener snake, though.
I still would have screamed like a little girl.
Don, is there how many days are we into Summer missing? 55,
Yeah.
56
Yeah.
days.
I don't really keep track of time, but yeah, I'd say almost 2 months. Yeah.
How is it for you and Candace at home with dodging all of this hate now? I know you guys got a lot of hate before being in the public eye. Is there anything that you guys do? Are you able to maybe go for a walk together and like kind of clear your minds at all? Is there anything that you guys have been able to do to just kind of maybe escape the craziness for a little bit or anything like that?
No, there's been absolutely nothing for us. For the first week or more, and still goes on. We've been on Facebook day and night, trying to get help from people to help find our daughter. And we don't watch TV. We don't. There's nothing. I don't want nothing anymore. I mean, people say we should go out to dinner or we should do that. I don't want to enjoy anything without my daughter anymore. I come to this church here. I can see my daughter run up this hill to the top and wave at me and run down and play and all over this place. She'd be all over this church visiting people and just having a blast. That's why I wanted to come here. And
Is her memorial there where you are?
no, that's in that little memorial thing's at the Solomon's Temple Baptist Church out there by where we live, but there's no cell service out there.
Mm.
But this was her church. This is where she was at home at, right here.
Mm.
She loved it. She loved it, She always loved women that were, the women of, I can't think of the word, that they're professional women, you could say. She looked up to professional women and could see herself like these women, in the future. And that's why she hung on to all these, she just loved to, I guess, see herself like that. So she would visit with everybody. They tried for the longest, you got to sit down somewhere, you got to get down, sit down. But she refused, and they pretty much give up on her. Most all the kids would sit there and behave, but not Summer. She would be all over the place. And that's okay.
It is, yeah. She marched to the beat of a different drum.
She is. Oh, yeah. A free spirit. I know it well. Do you have a prayer? Was there a prayer that was Summer's favorite that you could share with us?
No, we kept it pretty basic with her, love God. We love you, Jesus. Love you, love all of us kids. And, when it comes to the kids, we kept it real basic, when it comes to prayers like that. So I don't really remember anything specific, but I was trying, before all this happened, we would read out of the Great Controversy every night with the boys. We didn't Summer, and we didn't really make them listen, but we was trying to, help them understand the importance of that book in the future, because they're going to see all this stuff happen. The Sunday law and all that, it's going to happen in their time, and they're going to have to, all these kids today are going to have to make a choice tomorrow, about the Sunday law, and it could be like they might have to give up their life in order to keep the commandments, but potentially these kids may never taste death. If they're alive when Jesus comes back, they'll never taste death. They'll that's kind of cool to think about, but it's going to get bad, and it's important for these kids to understand what's going to happen in the future, and that's where Ellen White's book comes in. It explains, her book explains Revelations. It makes it understandable. Daniel's prophecies and all. It's so important. I believe that with all my heart, and I like to share it with everybody if I can.
Mm.
But Summer loved it here. She could feel the spirit. She just danced around, and I just can't believe she's gone, just like that.
Well, one thing I want to say is you don't very often see children happy at church.
Mm.
But Summer, she seemed like she was really in her element there. It seemed like she loved it. And that was always it always gave me a good feeling in my heart when I saw that.
yeah, I'm not trying to put any churches down. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of good churches, but there's a lot of children at this church. And, usually they're like putting the children, children are at the forefront in this church. And I love that, that meant a lot to me, as far as this church. So, yeah, all these children here are extremely happy, and they have a private school if you can afford it. We was trying to get them into their private school because they teach, Bible principles and, the important things. And all these kids here are extremely happy. So that's very important. But not trying to put any other churches down or anything like that. There's a lot of good churches.
No, I don't think you put anyone down. I think
No,
that's fine.
it was well said.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, I think we'll just have you thank your supporters, because I'd have to say you have a lot more supporters than hate. And you already know
Yeah.
we're going to have the haters. We have to be okay with that, whatever. Let them throw their stones. But you have a lot more love and support from people. And it's nice to see it. So if you just want to, if you have anything to say to anyone listening before we end this.
Yeah, I just want to thank y'all for all your support, for helping to find Summer and try to keep her at the forefront. And please, if there's any way you can help me find her, I appreciate that. And just thank you and love and prayers. Okay, I know, yes, I've made a lot of mistakes in the past. I know I've learned a lot, and I'm sorry if I've hurt anyone. I'm sorry if I hurt my sister Jeannie. I'm sorry. I don't know what else I can say or do, but that doesn't mean that I would ever hurt anyone again, or in any way, or that I don't love my daughter. I love my daughter with all my heart. I would never, ever, I was younger. I made mistakes. I would never make those sort of mistakes again, ever. All I can say is I'm sorry. There's nothing more that I can do. I'll do whatever. But for right now, I'm sorry. All right. Thank you all very much. And God bless. Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all.
We'll talk
Appreciate you
soon.
too.
We appreciate you. Thank you so much, Don.
Y'all have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yep,
You
definitely.
got it, man.
All right. All right. Bye.
Bye.
What do you think?
Yeah, again, hearing him talk, it seems just like a father searching for his daughter. I know a lot of you watching, you think he's involved or he did it or whatever. I just don't get that vibe. I could be wrong.
The more and more we talk to him like that face to face, I just think it less and less. I don't know. And I know there's things that are red flags. We aren't dumb, but you could look into anybody and we're going to see red flags.
Well, you want to talk about red flags? I have done nothing to anybody, and it's going around that I'm a sex offender.
Just because
there's literally no proof of that. I've never been charged with a crime ever. Like, you look up, try and find my record, there's nothing. So yeah. And anybody can that's it. That's proof right there. How anybody can just be made to look awful with no proof at all.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to take away from this.
Yeah. So we've got a lot more we're working on with Don. He's been nothing but open and honest. And again, I think we'll just end it with thanking him yet again. Candace, thank you. I know you're stressed out, scared, and nervous, and we don't blame you. Don, wow, he's had to be strong for himself. his kids, his missing daughter, his wife. Aren't you going to feel dumb if he turns up guilty and there's proof? But
No.
won't you feel dumb if there's proof and you were bashing a man who is down, like beyond bashing him when he's down? Wouldn't you then feel dumb? And then who's going to go all around on the platforms and apologize?
Nobody.
Who's going to do that? Or are they just going to quietly walk away and go on to the next case like it didn't even happen? Jennifer.
That's exactly what'll happen.
So,
And if we're wrong, so be it. We're just talking with the guy. We aren't saying that we know something you don't know. We don't know anything more.
we only
We're
know
just-
how we feel because
Yeah.
of our own. We're a little bit closer than some. That's nothing to brag about, but there's reasons why we feel the way we feel.
Yeah.
And we just want to share that with you guys, and maybe we can help some of you see. And it has helped because some of you are like, wow, I am seeing Dawn a little bit differently. And that's all we're asking. We're not asking, you don't have to completely change your opinion. Dawn knows it. Like, they know that this doesn't look good. You know,
Mhm.
he's guilty of a bad past, doing bad things in his past.
Which, and some people have been saying, we do not condone that. We know that what happened back then was very, very wrong.
Mhm.
It's not okay.
We didn't know him then.
Well, all we say is his past, what happened then, does not mean that he did this to Summer. And
Yeah.
that's our point. We're not saying that he's a saint. And we're not saying that what he did back then is okay.
I'm
Not at
not
all.
saying-
It's not. He knows it's not, as you heard tonight. I just wanted to clarify that because a few people have been saying we should say that a little bit more because it looks like we're like sympathizers for it. And that's not the case. We just don't think that that means he's guilty of this.
Yeah. Everyone keep being respectful, and you can see we will get some answers and
Yeah.
and a lot more. He feels comfortable because he's not being attacked and he's having his voice his way. You are going to notice some editing. It's because he cannot stop talking about other family
He
members,
starts
that there's a
mentioning
gag
too many
order.
names, and it's like, man, it's going to take me forever to edit
Mhm.
out. And it's going to sound.
No. I mean,
So-
there's other family members that he absolutely loves and misses, and we promise to stay to a gag order, and we're going to edit that out. So when you hear the editing, we are just abiding by that gag order, and that's it.
Yeah, that and when the sound goes screwy, because we do have a lot of issues with his phone.
Yes.
I have to keep trying to mute
He drives
him
to church
while
every
we're
time.
talking and mute us while he's talking, so it's not all echoey.
Mhm.
I'm struggling with that, but yeah, that's why there's editing. It's not like we're trying to hide anything.
Oh,
Okay, we've
Ta-ta
been saying
for now.
Okay, we're really done this time.
bye.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching.